Do you really make the decisions in your life yourself? Or is someone else manipulating your mind? And if you're still under the illusion that you can't be controlled, you can skip this video. Nothing is actually under your control, and that's exactly what you've been made to believe. Think about all those times when someone convinced you to do something and you didn't even realize it. Was that really your own decision? Or did someone cleverly plant a seed in your mind and you nurtured it until it blossomed, making it easy for them to control you? You think these thoughts are your own, but you don't even realize that you've already been easily controlled. If you think you've always acted on your own will, then you're living in an illusion. The bitter truth is the world is full of puppets and their masters. If you're not one of those controllers, then believe me, you're just a puppet yourself. But there's a big difference between those who control and those who are controlled. The controllers, that is. A manipulator never gives direct orders. They get others to do things their way without them even realizing it. A manipulator never even lets their victim realize that they're being controlled. A manipulator always hides their true intentions, what they actually want the victim to do, and instead stirs up emotions inside their victim, making them feel a certain way. What he is doing is his own idea. He cleverly traps her in his words with a slight smile. Remember that moment when your mind suddenly changed and you couldn't even understand how it happened? The thought that someone else planted within you? One innocent-looking comment one made on purpose. Signal. This is the real power, to make people pawns without them suspecting a thing. But now the question is, what if you are the one who controls your victim? What then? If this time you are not the one being deceived but the pawns are dancing to your signals, then who is the real player, you or them? Because in this game the difference between winners and losers is very clear. A manipulator knows that power is never forced. Instead, it is slowly planted in the victim's mind. But the problem is that we've been taught wrong. We've been made to believe that manipulation means speaking loudly, asserting authority, and imposing your will on others. But those who truly run the world never need to raise their voices. They quietly make their moves. True strategists make people adopt their way of thinking in such a way that they believe it's their own idea, and this is something no one has ever told you. Manipulation is not a game of shouting or threatening. It's also not about convincing someone with arguments or trying to force your point of view. It's a psychological tactic where you lead people exactly where you want them to go. And they never even realize that you have done so. You have shown them the way. Now the question is, do you want to understand this game? Identify the right people. Don't try to manipulate everyone. Focus only on those who can truly become your victims. Those people who can be easily influenced, who are lonely inside, who need someone but never want to show that they actually need someone. You can make such people your victims. People who think they are making their own decisions but in reality need someone else to make those decisions for them. Make them believe that the idea is their own. When people feel that they are in control, their desire to resist disappears. If you want someone to agree with you, don't tell them directly. Gently plant the idea in their mind and explain it as gradually as possible so that they come to trust what you say. That's all it takes to lead them to the conclusion you've already decided on. This is the real game. To play the game and make the other person believe that they want it themselves. The dark side of human nature is that people hate being ordered around but love their own ideas. And if you play this game the right way, people will defend your plan as if it were their own. The biggest threat to maintaining control over something isn't that people are protesting, but when those protesting people unite and become organized. So if you want to stop opposition, break it into small pieces so that people can't come together and build strength. If a group unites against you, you'll lose control. But if you can plant the seed of doubt, create small cracks, or pit them against each other, they will weaken on their own. And this is what is called divide and rule. But that's not enough on its own. If you really want control, you have to understand human emotions. Logic only influences thoughts, but emotions drive people to action. No one acts because of logic. They act because they feel something. Now the real game begins. Fear, greed, insecurity, or ego, every person has some weakness. Identify which emotion drives each person and use that emotion to your advantage. Don't tell them what to do. Make them feel that it is necessary to do it. But now comes the most dangerous part. There is a price to pay for playing with other people's minds. If your game is exposed, you will become an enemy. If you misuse this power again and again, one day someone else will learn your tricks and use them against you. Control is a weapon, and like any weapon, it can turn against you and strike back. History is full of manipulators who were under the illusion that they were invincible until someone else learned to play the game better than them. So the real question isn't whether you can manipulate others or not. The real question is, are you ready to accept the consequences? Because once you cross that line, there's no way back. Now you understand that true power lies not in imposing but in guiding. It's not about speaking loudly, but about getting others to speak your words. And this is the greatest paradox. The less it seems like you have control, the more you actually have everything under your command. The less control you show, the more in control you truly are. The world isn't run by those who shout the loudest, but by those who quietly control others. For example, Ayano Koji, who makes himself look innocent and clueless. Now the question is, will you always remain a puppet, or will you learn to manipulate? But this is just the beginning. If you truly want to master the art of influence, you'll have to go beyond that. You'll have to understand what most people never do. People don't follow ideas, they follow emotions. People's biggest weakness is their emotions. Think of any great movement or person in history who changed the course of humanity. Now consider how they did it, not with perfect arguments, nor with irrefutable data. They used people's greatest weakness, and that is their emotions. Because when emotions are involved, logic doesn't matter anymore. Remember how many times you've seen people fighting for ideas they don't even fully understand themselves, ideas they fight for but never question. This happens because these ideas are tied to their ego and their identity, and that's the real key. If you want to control someone, make your idea a part of their identity. People can change their ideas, but it's not easy to change their identity. For example, make them feel that their ideas are connected to their very existence. And you know what's closest to a person's existence? Their religion, their caste, and their God. No one wants to believe that they've been thinking wrong their whole life. But if you influence someone to such an extent, if those ideas become their identity, they'll protect them until their dying breath. Not because you told them to, but because it gives them a reason for their existence, and that's where the game becomes dangerous. This isn't something trivial, it's programming. Silently, inside someone's mind. Plant an idea without them realizing it was yours, and for that, you need 3 things. First, exposure. First, exposure. You can't change someone's thinking in an instant. Instead, you gradually introduce your own ideas into their mindset. Second, repetition. The things that are heard repeatedly start to seem true. The human mind tends to believe things that are repeated. If you keep repeating an idea, it gets deeply embedded in their minds. Third, emotional connection. People don't adopt ideas because they're logical. They adopt them because those ideas make them feel something. If you can connect an idea to their fears, greed, pride, or insecurities, that idea becomes their own. Now the question isn't whether you can influence someone or not. Can you play this game so subtly that the other person never even realizes they're your puppet? The mind gradually starts to accept what it sees repeatedly. Things people don't know create fear, but what is familiar starts to feel comfortable to them. Now let's understand some deeper psychological patterns. People trust those who listen to them more than those who just talk. Why? Because the feeling of being heard creates a deep connection. If you want to influence someone, let them talk about themselves. Most people crave to be heard. If you give them this feeling, they will start to see you as trustworthy. Fear is more powerful than reward. People fear loss more than they desire rewards. If you want to compel someone to take action, don't tell them what they can gain. Tell them what they will lose if they don't listen to you. Exclusivity. People value things more when they are not accessible to everyone. If you want to make an idea special, make it limited and unique. If people feel that they are among the select few who know something that others don't, they will hold on to that idea even more tightly. You don't need to completely destroy a group. Just make them fight among themselves. Divide and rule is not just a strategy. It's psychology. If you can create doubt, competition, and ego within a group, they will weaken on their own. This is the greatest illusion of human psychology, even if you master all the laws of psychology and influence. Even though you can force people to do what you want, you can never control one thing. Human chaos means human chaos. People don't always react the way you expect. Sometimes a simple emotion, a change in their life, or some inner realization can wipe out all your control in an instant. And this is where the real question arises. It's not just a question of whether you can influence others, but whether you are prepared for what comes after that. How far are you willing to go, or will you also get trapped in the same web in which so many players have lost themselves? It's easy to do the formatting, but it's not easy to control the effects that come from it. History bears witness to how many puppets ended up tangled in the very strings they once controlled. When you get addicted to making an impression, that addiction becomes your biggest weakness. The very techniques you once used become your greatest enemy. Now, the final question is not whether you can make an impression or not. The question is, do you want to learn how to control others? Or do you want to live under the illusion that no one has ever influenced you until now?